As photographers, one of the most critical yet often overlooked aspects of creating compelling images is the background. The background can make or break a photograph, as it plays a significant role in directing the viewer's attention and enhancing the overall composition. Let's dive into why paying attention to backgrounds is essential, how to manage them effectively, and practical techniques to ensure your subject stands out. At the end, I'll also share a call to action to engage your audience by encouraging them to subscribe and comment. Why backgrounds matter in photography. The background serves as the canvas for your subject, whether it's a portrait, landscape, product, or street photography. A poorly chosen or cluttered background can distract viewers, detract from your subject, and diminish the impact of your image. Conversely, a well-selected or controlled background can enhance the mood, highlight the subject, and create a cohesive, professional-looking photograph. Here's why backgrounds deserve your attention. Directs. Viewer focus. The human eye is naturally drawn to contrast, patterns, and bright elements. A busy background with competing colors, textures, or objects can pull attention away from your subject, making the image feel chaotic. Sets the mood and context. The background contributes to the story or emotion of the photograph. For example, a serene forest background can evoke calmness in a portrait, while a cluttered urban setting might convey energy or chaos. Enhances composition. A clean or complementary background helps balance the composition, ensuring the subject remains the focal point. It can also add depth or contrast to make the subject pop. Professionalism. A distracting background can make an otherwise great shot look amateurish. Controlling the background demonstrates attention to detail and elevates the quality of your work. Common background issues to avoid. Before diving into solutions, let's identify common background problems photographers encounter. Clutter. Objects like trash cans, power lines, or random people in the background can distract from the subject. Bright spots or colors. Bright lights, neon signs, or vivid colors can pull the viewer's eye away from the subject. Unintended elements. Things like tree branches that appear to grow out of a subject's head, or signs that create awkward visual alignments. Lack of contrast. A background too similar in color or tone to the subject can cause them to blend together, reducing impact. Techniques for managing backgrounds. To create stunning photographs, you need to be intentional about your backgrounds. Here are practical strategies to ensure your backgrounds enhance rather than detract from your images. 1. Choose simple complementary backgrounds. When possible, select a background that complements your subject without overpowering it. Here's how. Scout your location. Before shooting, walk around and observe potential backgrounds. Look for clean, uncluttered areas like a plain wall, a field, or a body of water. For portraits, neutral tones like grays, greens, or blues often work well, as they don't compete with the subject's skin tones or clothing. Consider context. Choose a background that supports the story you're telling. For example, a rustic barn wall might suit a country-themed portrait, while a sleek cityscape could work for a corporate headshot. Use negative space. A minimalist background with plenty of empty space, e.g., a clear sky or a plain wall, can make your subject stand out and create a timeless, elegant look. Check for distractions. Before pressing the shutter, scan the frame for distracting elements like bright objects, text, or patterns. Adjust your position or angle to eliminate them. Pro tip: if you're shooting outdoors, early morning or late afternoon light, golden hour, can soften backgrounds and create a warm, flattering effect. 2. Use a wide aperture to blur the background. One of the most effective ways to minimize background distractions is to use a shallow depth of field, which blurs the background and keeps the focus on your subject. Here's how to do it. Select a wide aperture. Use a low f-stop number, e.g. f1.4, f1.8, or f2.8, to create a shallow depth of field. Prime lenses like a 50mm f1.8 or 85mm f1.4 are excellent for this, as they allow more light and produce a creamy bokeh effect. Increase subject-to-background distance. Position your subject farther away from the background. The greater the distance, the more pronounced the blur. For example, place your subject several feet in front of a wall or foliage to enhance the bokeh. Use a longer focal length. Lenses with longer focal lengths, e.g. 85mm or 135mm, Compress the background, making it appear softer and less detailed compared to wide-angle lenses. Focus accurately. Ensure your camera's focus is locked on the subject, e.g., the eyes in a portrait, to keep them sharp while the background blurs. Example: for a portrait, shoot at f1.8 with a 50mm lens and position your subject 10 feet in front of a busy background like a park. The trees and people in the background will blur into a soft, pleasing bokeh, making your subject stand out. 3. Reposition yourself or the subject. Sometimes a simple change in perspective can eliminate background distractions. Change your angle, move left, right, up, or down to avoid unwanted elements. For example, crouching low can replace a cluttered street with a clean sky as the background. Reposition the subject. If you can't move, ask your subject to shift slightly to avoid distracting elements. For instance, moving them a few steps to the side can hide a pole or sign. Frame tightly. Zoom in or move closer to fill the frame with your subject, reducing the amount of background visible. 4. Control the background in post-processing. While it's best to get the background right in camera, post-processing can help refine it. Blur the background. Use software like Adobe Photoshop or Lightroom to apply a selective blur to the background. Tools like the Field Blur filter or adjustment brush can mimic a shallow depth of field. Darken or desaturate. Reduce the brightness or saturation of the background to make it less distracting. This draws more attention to the subject. Remove distractions. Use cloning or healing tools to remove unwanted objects like wires, signs, or people. Be careful to maintain a natural look. Replace the background. For studio or portrait work, you can replace the background entirely with a digital backdrop or a solid color for a clean, professional effect. Note: over-editing can make a photo look unnatural, so use post-processing sparingly and aim to get the background right during the shoot. 5. Use props or environmental elements. Incorporate elements in the environment to frame or enhance the background. Natural frames. Use doorways, windows, or tree branches to create a frame around your subject, drawing attention to them and simplifying the background. Props. In studio or controlled settings, use backdrops like seamless paper, fabric, or textured walls to create a clean, intentional background. Foreground elements. Add subtle foreground elements, e.g., grass or leaves, to create depth and distract from a busy background. 6. Consider lighting. Lighting can dramatically affect how the background appears. Light the subject, not the background. Use directional lighting, e.g., a softbox or reflector, to illuminate your subject while keeping the background darker. This creates contrast and makes the subject pop. Avoid bright backgrounds. If the background is too bright, e.g., a sunny sky, it can overpower the subject. Use a faster shutter speed or neutral density filter to darken it, or reposition to a shadier spot. Use backlighting. Position the subject with the light source behind them, e.g., the sun or a studio light, to create a rim light effect that separates them from the background. Practical tips for different photography genres. Portrait photography. Use wide apertures, f1.4, f2.8, and neutral or blurred backgrounds to keep the focus on the subject's face. Avoid busy urban settings unless they add to the story. Landscape photography. Embrace the background as part of the scene, but ensure it's balanced. Use leading lines or natural frames to guide the viewer's eye. Product photography. Use seamless backdrops or reflective surfaces for a clean, professional look. Ensure the background complements the product's colors. Street photography. Be mindful of dynamic backgrounds. Wait for the right moment to capture a clean composition or use a wide aperture to blur crowds. Event photography. Reposition yourself to avoid clutter like tables or decorations. Use flash to light the subject and darken the background. Final thoughts for photographers. Paying attention to backgrounds is a skill that separates amateur photographers from professionals. By choosing simple, complementary backgrounds or using techniques like a wide aperture to blur distractions, you can create images that are visually striking and focused on the subject. Practice scanning your frame before shooting, experiment with different apertures and angles, and refine your images in post-processing when needed. With time, controlling backgrounds will become second nature, elevating the quality of your work. Call to action. If you found these tips helpful, Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more photography tutorials, gear reviews, and creative inspiration. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below with your favorite background control technique or any questions you have. Let's keep the conversation going and help each other grow as photographers.